I love numbers. As far as budgets go, the most relevant experience I have right now, I'm working at the Manitoban Newspaper Publication Corporation. Everyone turns around, you can see the Manitoban sitting there nicely on its stand. I've been managing their budget actively for about 8 months now. It's a $500,000 budget comparable to the CSA's. And we outline everything from our overhead costs to the other newspapers we actually own. One of our subsidiaries called the Grad Z is the graduate students newspaper. So budget experience strictly from the Manitoban, very, very comparable to that of the CSA. Additionally, I'm an accounting and finance major. I deal with this kind of stuff every day in class. And again, that's transferred very applicably real life to the Manitoban. Also, I have worked in the risk analysis field with Manitoba Lotteries, actively looking at the variabilities through their budgets. Again, a little bit bigger than the CSA's, it's a couple $100 million. But if budgets are an issue, I am your man. I know exactly what's going on. Thanks so much.
That actually sounds like a fantastic idea to me. I'm going to draw upon a personal experience and show how that would be actually relatable to the idea that you suggested. As I mentioned in my speech, last year I went to the Ted Rogers Management Conference, and it was based out of Ryerson University. One initiative that they had was called Real Commerce. It was Ryerson International Experiential Learning, and basically what they did was they took they set up in a community in Africa. They established several micro loans that they were able to give out to women in the community so that they could have sustainable businesses. This was something that I myself was actively pursuing last year, and I know if there were opportunity like you mentioned to put this idea forward kind of to more of a broad community rather than just the president, it may have been recepted better, or maybe I could have caught a lead that would have led it somewhere. So I absolutely would be open to that idea, and I think Kate has mentioned it probably 100 times today, but transparency is absolutely paramount in an organization like the CSA. I see no reason why people shouldn't be able to find these numbers out. I don't think myself, I will have anything to hide, so I think that transparency would be absolutely important.
Well, like Riley said that I said, transparency is something that's very important to me in all organizations. I think that the current exec has been, to my knowledge, exploring the idea of financial statements and being able to release those. One of the challenges to that, though, is releasing that I perceive with that is releasing financial statements that are not necessarily being analyzed by. Obviously, they're audited by professionals, but if I'm a first-year student reading a financial statement and I see that we ran a surplus or ran a deficit or didn't, how do I understand the circumstances around that? So I do believe in transparency, but I think that it's going to require a lot of work and a lot of sensitivity on the part of the new council to put that in place. And so I don't necessarily see it as a quick fix, but it is something that I would like to work towards.
All right, I'll jump on the transparency train. I mean, it was in my speech twice. Transparency is very, very important, and it's something that may personally wasn't really an issue for me this year, because there's two sides to any issues regarding budgeting. Is have you done your due diligence in asking and seeing the right people, and is there the proper means and culture in place to invite the students to go and ask these questions? Now, I agree, transparency is important, and all these statements have or should be available to the members, asked for students only. So I feel like any student should have, if they have a reasonable reason for asking, if it pertains to an event, an idea, or if their curiosity is here's a book on our financials, take a look, bring it back tomorrow. That's a little far-fetched. policies in place, but also creating the environment that it's okay. Again, this goes back to openness, approachability, and reaching out to, and it's the kind of thing you can announce to first years and have that build as it consistently and be a part of Asper culture for years to come.
I'll pull this one right out of my intro to financial. Budgets and financial statements are meant for two things: to benefit the stakeholders and for the purpose of accountability. If we're not showing students our budgets and our financial statements, that is absolutely ridiculous. Students should always be allowed to see them. They're our direct stakeholders. They're the ones that are contributing money to the CSA and the ones that are actually receiving the benefits from them. I know earlier this year there was an issue with a student wanting to see a specific budget, and I found it very, very disturbing that they weren't allowed to see that budget. There should be absolute transparency in the CSA, especially when it comes to our financials, if for no other reason, solely for accountability. Sure, we have an audit every year, but we know that the CSA deals with hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if students can't see that that's being handled responsibly, that just is not fair to them. Additionally, including students with hearing their ideas and getting feedback from them. This is something I touched on. I don't think you can invite students just to come and talk to you. You need to go and talk to them. That's when they express their ideas. And then saying, that's a great idea. Come to our council meeting. Bring that up. That's when I think you really get to touch students and understand where they're coming from, and then actually get to follow through and deliver on their ideas. Thank you.